guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. So Shabby Saturday, now this is number 20, so it's still July, so I thought I could fit in another little shabby Christmas project. So I thought I would make some little sort of like Christmas fairies, and I just think they are lovely. They sort of hang up, these ones hang up, but again you can do them however, if you wanted them hanging up or pop them on the top of a Christmas tree. But these are just so cute, so lovely. Now I've made them out of some little wooden beads. I've got some sort of like fabricy, it's not quite tall, it's quite sort of like hard, this one, but it's still beautiful. Little bow. I've got some sort of like macrame thread or string, I'm not quite sure what you call it, for the hair, some little wire wings, little pearl necklace on there, and I just think she is so cute. Now I've made two. This was the first one, and I did find this was quite, you know, if you wanted a nice puffy dress, this is quite hard and it sort of like stays in a nice shape. So that was the first one I made, and then I made this little one which has got more of the tool that I normally use, which is this one, and it's a little bit softer, and it's a little bit more sort of like all over the place. Nice little messy dress on there, and then I've just wrapped it sort of like a little bit in the middle. She's got a little bow, little wings. I made a little crown for this one as well, so you can see. I've got another crown. I'll probably make the crowns on a different video, but they are so pretty. But yeah, super simple and lovely, and I just think they make such a lovely little, if you made them a little bit smaller, you could probably hang them on your Christmas trees. But how lovely is that to hang around as a Christmas decoration? Or not necessarily. I will be hanging these in my room, my craft room, but they are just beautiful. So I'm going to pop those just in front of me there. Now I've got some little wooden beads. Well, they're quite big. They're 25 mil beads, millimeters, which are really good size. Now I'm going to be using two of those. I did get some bigger ones. I bought some bigger ones which are 30 mil, but they were just slightly too big. I didn't want her to have too big a head, so I've just got the 25 millimeter ones. Now I'm going to just use a little bit of macrame string with this as well. Now I'm actually going to do her hair first. So I've got a piece of chipboard. Now shall I measure this? Where's my ruler? Over here. So I'm just going to wind this around. So this is just under 3 inches, 2 3/4 inches, or just over 7 centimeters. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to wrap it around a few times like that. So it depends how much hair you want your little fairy to have. Now this is macrame string, but you can use just some wool. If you've got a little bit of wool or something, you can use that. You don't have to use this. This is quite thick, but it's quite nice. I quite like it. So I'm just going to wrap a little bit around that a few times. So we've got some hair on there. Now this is going to be the length of her hair, like that. So that's the length of it. So if you wanted it obviously a little bit shorter, then you can not have this little bit so big. So let me just cut that off. Then I'm going to cut a length like that off. Pop that through. It's probably a bit too long. Pop that underneath. And then just tie a little knot at the top, like that, like this, at the top, nice and tight, like that. I'm just going to double that over again, so it's nice and tight, and then just take that off. There we go, find the middle. And I'm going to just snip that, get those two pieces out of the way. There we go. So that is the top. So this bit that I've tied, I wanted this bit longer that I tied because that's going to go through the beads. So that's the reason I wanted that a little bit longer like that. So that is the hair. like that, and we can just tidy that up in a moment. So that's okay like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of the beads. Now I did have a needle here somewhere. Oh, here they are. Nice big needle. I'm just going to try and pop these through, just to get through. It doesn't have to be perfectly in there, just so it comes through the little bead. So that is her little head, like that. So then I'm going to brush that in a minute, and that's her hair, like that. So what I'm going to do on this one, I'm actually going to just tie. I'm going to get another bit, but I'm going to get a thicker one. This is a little thinner one, and this is a thicker one. But if you've only got one sort of like size, just use that. But this one is a little bit thicker, and I'm just going to tie that. I'm going to through that, so that will be like her little arms. So I'm just going to tie that nice and tight there. I'm going to put a little bit of glue gun glue on this bit, just like that, to hold it in place, and then I'm going to tie another little knot like that, just so it's oozy with a little bit of glue on there. So, and then these ones, which are going to be her little arms, they're sort of arms. You don't have to put them on. I've got them on here, if you can see. So this little bit like that. But you can use sort of like a pipe cleaner or something like that if you wanted to. So I'm going to just keep that. So that's her arms and that's the hair. So, and then we want to thread this again through to get the body. I'm just going to cut that off like that. Pop those through if I can. Probably do easier to do one at a time, won't it? Trying to force them through. Let's go through. You don't have to go all the way through. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing a very good job. Let's do that. Pop that through. Just needs a little bit of the thread to come through. You don't need all of it. There we go. Pull that through. And this one. Like that. Perfect. There we go. And then that is our little body of our little fairy, or a little angel, or a fairy. Now I'm going to open those up. I'm going to just blob a little bit of glue in there, because we don't want that sliding through. And the easiest way was just to use a little bit of glue gun glue on there. Actually, I'm going to use this, you know, I'm going to use that little bit to stuff on there. Because you're not going to see that anyway, just to get rid of that little bit of glue so I can tie that up so it doesn't ooze everywhere. And again, like another little knot, like that. Now, I'm going to add a bit more glue on there, because we don't want that falling through. Right, now you can, if you wanted to, have these coming down as her legs. And you can sort of like tie a little knot in each one and have her coming, those are her legs. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to sort of cut them off. Now, I might do another little knot. I just don't want those beads to come through, so make sure you tie it up so it's not going to come through. Chop these little bits off like that. So there we go. That's our little start of our little fairy. Okay, and that's her arms. There we are. Now what we want to do is make a little dress. Now I've sort of made an inner one. Excuse me, I made like a little inner one and then an outer one. So I found this is what I was using the other day, wasn't it, for a journal. So I thought I would go a little bit more sort of shabby, with a little bit of sort of this lace. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this off. Like that. Now, I'm just thinking, shall I double that up for the inside? I think that might be too much, because I'm going to pop this on the outside of it. So I think maybe doubled up. It depends how thick you want it, but I'm going to just cut that in half, I think. So if you want a nice big puffy angel, or a little angel skirt, angel fairy angel, whatever she's going to be, she can be whatever she likes. Now I've threaded some cotton on this already, and I'm just going to pop it through this. I'm not quite sure how well this is going to sew through or gather. This might be a bit of a nightmare to gather. So I'm just going to go through my little bit of cotton there. Yeah, I've got a funny feeling this isn't the best to gather up, but I will give it a go. So just do like a little running stitch along the top. So whatever fabric or anything that you're going to use, just do a running stitch. See, this might be a bit too much even as well. So let's just say, oh, that's the end. That's okay. Because this is quite hard. It's not sort of it's a sort of synthetic-y stuff. But it's quite nice, so I'm just going to tie that up. What do you think? Is that going to pull through? Oh, actually, it's quite nice. Now, what I need to do is sew this around this little bit of her body. So we need to put our arms in the air and gather that up. And then this is going to, if I can get it together, like that. I just want to wrap this around. So I'm going to pull this. Oh my gosh, guys, that's just a bit of a nightmare, wasn't it? Like this. I don't want to pull it too tight. This is not the easiest to use. So I might have to hang on to that, wrap it around. Let's just grab the other end, like that, without sewing her little arms together. Okay, so we just need to sew that around her little body bit, if you know what I mean. We put her arms in the air. There we go. Gather that up. Gosh, I'm not doing a very good job, am I? So let's just grab this and sew this together. There we go. All the way through. All the way around, I'm going to do that. Hold this down. I am going to, in a minute as well, I just don't want to sew her hands in. Just pull that down like that. There we go. That's better. It will be easier with a sort of softer little bit of fabric, but I quite liked this look of the this little lace, but I think because it's sort of a bit sort of synthetic, it's a little bit sort of hard. I should have gone for a little bit of pretty lace, really, shouldn't I? But that's okay. When you do it, it will be a lot easier, I am sure. Let's just sew a little bit more onto there. There we go, make sure little arms are out of the way. I'm going to just tie this around. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we've got cotton in her hair. There we are, that will do. a little bit tighter. Let's pop a little knot in there. Not in your little arm. There we are. Perfect. Is that going to be tight enough? It's not going to undo. So I'm going to gather this anyway, like this, underneath. So that's sort of just like her top bit, if you know what I mean. And this will come underneath. So, where's my cotton gone? There we are. Let's tie another little knot. I've got a huge big needle. You probably don't need one this big. Okay, that will do. Nice and tight. Pop that in there. Chop that off, and there we go. So, this bit that you're not going to really see, but this will be sort of like, oh, that's the open bit. We don't want that bit. We want to go around this side. This can be the front. So I just want to gather that up like that, because that's going to be like this bit, if you know what I mean. So that's like the top of her sort of dress bit. So you can get like, you can even sort of like get like a little bit of an elastic band or something like that if you've got anything, or just wrap. I'm going to just tie that because we're going to be sewing the skirt around this bit as well. So what I might do, take a little bit of this actually and just tie that around. Just at the bottom. Like that. Just so it goes under that other little bead. Perfect. Which was the back and which was the front? Okay, I think I'm going to have this bit as the front. So little arms, a little head. There we go. Tie a little knot. Oops, if I can. If I learn how to tie a knot. There we go. Let's cut these little pieces off. Super! So that's the start. Look at that. So again, use whatever fabrics you've got. This is a little bit too hard, I think. So it's probably better off if you use a sort of softer fabric, but then it's worth a try. I think it will look quite nice underneath. Now I want this needle and cotton as well, again, to sew the little bit of tulle. Like that, we tie in a knot. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, there we go. This is what we want. I've got the grey on the bottom, the little bit of felt, because it's not easy to see. I'm going to pop her over there a little bit. Now I'm going to just use this, and I'm just going to, again, I'm going to tie it in, I'm going to just sew it, gather it up and sew it. And then I'm going to sort of like pull on it, so it sort of like gives it a little bit of a messy look. So I think it'll be easier for me to just gather it up. But again, any fabrics, cottons or anything, depending on what you would like to make your little fairy or angel, whatever you want to call her. But I think it's just a lovely little thing to have hanging around at Christmas, isn't it? Lovely little bit of Christmas decor. So I'm just going to gather that up just in a little running stitch. Now I'm just going to keep going until I feel like it's enough. So it depends how sort of puffy you would like the skirt. So I'm just going to gather that up. Gosh, it's quite noisy outside today. It's lovely. As you all probably know, my son is here at the moment. Oh, and it's just fabulous. We are having such a wonderful time. My daughter will be here. My daughter, husband and the kids will be here on Wednesday, so I'm going to have a very, very busy household, and I am so excited to have them all here. So I won't be doing too many videos throughout August, because it's definitely family time. So I'm going to, that's going to be enough. I'm just going to cut this a little bit off here. So yes, we're going to enjoy the sunshine, the barbecues, the swimming. We are all very excited. So not much work, I don't think, will be getting done. Okay, so I have gathered that up. So as you can see, I've just sort of like gathered that all up like so. And I'm going to attempt to try and put this on. I'm not quite sure now which is the back or the front, but not that it really matters. To sort of sew this around, or gather it around. Let me find the end. Where's the end? Let's just stick that in there, like that. Pull tight. I think that's on there. Let's gather it in like that. I think that will probably be the easiest way. Make sure her little arms and her hair are out of the way. Pull it nice and tight. Around. Yes, we're going to have a nice barbecue this afternoon, or early evening, because it's exceptionally hot here at the moment. So when the sun's sort of gone down, we will have a nice barbecue. Make a nice jug of sangria, which will be lovely, and sit and chat in the garden. So I'm really looking forward to that. There, I think her skirt's on pretty well. Like that. It does feel strange doing sort of like Christmassy bits in July. But these are just beautiful. I love them. And I will do, because like I said, I made some like little crowns, but I think I'll do that in another video. I'm trying to think of something I can do with my son. He'd like to do a video with me. He said he's quite happy to do a video with me, and I just think that would be wonderful. So I might make the little crowns with him, because he's very good. He's very arty, and he's a great maker. Oh, look at that. She is lovely, isn't she? She's got a little bit of rough bits in there. Might have to stick down. Now, maybe that's the back. Do you think that's the back and this is the front? I think that's the front. She's still got a little bit of funny bits under her armpits there, but that's okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this little bit of tulle, because it sort of stretches out of shape, and it just makes it really, it sort of stretches, which is great, and it just gives it that lovely sort of dimension. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit scruffy and shabby, like that. Just pull it. Actually, I think on the other one I added another sort of layer to it. Can you see? It's just given it, I quite like that lace underneath actually. It's just given that sort of like puffy look to it. So it just stretches. Oh, I do like that. That's lovely. I like the lace under there. This would make like a lovely sort of wedding fairy, wouldn't it? That would be lovely with a little bit of lace under there. Right, we've got a little bit of funniness going on here. I'm going to actually get a little bit of glue and try and sort of flatten that down a little bit. There we go. Lovely. Look at that, guys. She is lovely, and that's her little... Her arms are awfully long. They won't be that long. Do you know what I mean? So if you had her little feet coming out, her little legs, you could have like little legs and then tie a little sort of like knot where her feet are, which would be good. Right, so that's going to be the front. So what I'm going to do, just going to take 2 pieces of her hair, and this is what we're going to hang her up with. So I'm just going to tie a little knot in there, just so that's going to be her little hanger, just so I don't brush them out. Now I've got this is like a little cat brush. Now I think you can probably get proper ones for brushing this out. Probably not the best doing it on the felt either. It just brushes out just a little bit. There we go. Take that. There we go. Just so it's not in like the little strands or the little bits. Okay, now let's just bring our arms in. I'm going to pull this. Now I'm going to actually glue it to her face like that, just so I know. I think I brushed her arm there, never mind. So this is going to be the front, isn't it? Like that. Just going to do this before I paint her little face on. I'm going to pop a tiny bit of glue here, just so it sort of like sticks around her face, and then a little bit this side, like that. Bring it in, can you see? And then it's sort of like when you pull her hair back, then it doesn't come too far off her face. It sort of stays in place like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do the same on the back. Just glue that little bit down. Oh gosh. Just a little bit of glue down there. Just stick some of this like that, just so she hasn't got a little bit of a bald patch at the back. And her hair could just be pulled back. There we go. There we go. Should we have a little bit more glue, I think? Just a tiny bit there. Just to pull this in together. Lovely. Now I'm going to put her arms at the front, and we shall just tie this. Tie that back gently. Now I'm going to just use a little bit of this little odd bit that we've got left. Now again, you can use a little bit of ribbon or something on there as well. But I'm just going to tie that back. Not that I did a very good job there, was it? See, look, I might add a little bit more glue. Can you see? So then she's got it sort of like around her face. I'm going to add a little bit more in here, just to pull that together, like that. Lovely. Oops. Okay. That's her little face. I can probably do that. Probably should have done that a little bit better. Okay, that's looking good. She's looking good, isn't she? Now I'm going to twist her arm and just so it sort of like pops out, if you know what I mean. Twist it so it doesn't unravel, and it's almost in like a little sort of heart shape, if you know what I mean. Then we can just cut them, not stick, we can just cut the little long bits off that we don't need, so that can stick on there. A little bit over the top. Just twist it up a little bit and put that in. And that's her little arms. Oops, oops. And then I'm going to just cut these little bits off because we don't need those. Ta-da! There we go. She's looking good. Might have to do her hair a little bit better, but that's pretty good, isn't it? Lovely. Now I do have, where's my other little fairy? Where's my other little bits? I had this little bow that we did with the little bow maker, and it's got a little pearl in it, and I just thought that would be really pretty just on her, in between her hands there, so it looks like she's holding a little bow. So let's just, nice blob of glue on there. Oops. Without getting all the little stringy bits everywhere. Pop you on. There we go. Look at that. Lovely. I think I might have to just do her hair again in a minute. So that's her little dress. Now again, whatever sort of colour decor that you want to do throughout Christmas or whatever, you can add the bow in those sort of like colours, can't you? So it's got that little splash of colour. But I'm really liking this one. I think she's really pretty. Now we're going to do her little face before we do her wings, I think. And then we will give her a little little necklace of some sort. Right, I've got a little Posca pen, so I'm just going to do two little eyes, two little dots like that. So we'll have a little dot there. So again, just draw a little face on there. I'm not quite sure, I don't like too much on there. So she's got her two little eyes. And then I've got some chalk. I've got this chalk set. So this is really, really quite old. Quite an old chalk set. And then what I've done, I've just got a piece of tissue, kitchen roll, and I've just rolled it up because you want quite a small little bit there. And then I'm just going to dip it in. Actually, I'm going to just dip it in the red. And then I'm going to give it sort of like a little lips like that. So almost like painting a little heart on there. Can you see? So cute. And then that's a bit dark, so let me just roll that round this way. Pop it into the pink. And then we'll give it a little pink glowy cheeks, look. Like that. Oh, little fairy angel. There we go. She looks so cute, doesn't she? So simple to do her little face without making her look sort of quite funny. You know, it's quite difficult to do faces sometimes, isn't it? Without making them look a little bit odd. So there we go. Now, I did some pearls on the other one. So should we just give her a little pearl just to cover up this little messy bit under her chin? Look at that. Actually, I will. I was going to use some chain, but because we've got a pearl on there, I think that should be okay. I think that will work really well. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue. Let's just make sure she's sort of like in the right place. Little bit of glue gun around there. Take a little bit of pearl on there and then just hold that on. That just sort of like finishes up under her chin. Look at that, looks so cute, doesn't it? Pull that in a little bit. We don't want to strangle her, but I think that looks pretty good. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Right, now we need to do, I'm going to just do this bit again, I think. But we need to do the wings as well. So I've just got wire. Sorry, I'm just going to take this off because her hair's a little bit messy. We don't want messy hair, do we? We want it to be pulled in just a little bit more. Now I do have, look, I've got this pink one as well, macrame, which I think should look nice with pink hair as well, wouldn't she? Oh, I think we need a little bit of glue in there. Let's put that on. Let's just tidy her up a little bit. There we go. Put that on. Tie it round. I suppose you could give her like a little hair bun, couldn't you? So she comes up. So again, just play with the hair, however you like to do it. But I think I just want to sort of tie it back. You can take sort of like pieces and sort of like braid it and things like that, but I'm not going to get that complicated. Let's just take a longer piece. It might be a little bit easier for me to do. Tie that on. I should really do it with a little bit of ribbon, shouldn't I? What do you think? Is that looking a little bit better? I think so. Just tie that down like that for a minute. That's a little bit better than it was. Look at that. Love it. Okay, let's just tie that down. I'm going to just, actually I might just brush that into her hair. Oops, I've got a bit of cotton on there. And cut that down. Shall we even up her hair so she looks a little bit more pretty? That's better. That's better. There we go. There we go. Right. It's wing time. Look at her, isn't she just lovely? There are quite a few different ways of obviously making things like this, but I thought this one was quite simple to do. Right, I'm going to get a piece of this. Now actually I've already cut a piece off. This is just the galvanizing wire that I use. This is just like garden wire. You get it from a garden centre. So I have taken a piece which is, let me find my ruler. What did I do with that? Let's see if we can sort of measure this. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, about 16 inches of wire. So I'm just going to bend that in half, like that. Just sort of find the middle. So that's the middle bit. I need some pliers. So that's the middle. So I'm just going to squeeze that and bend that up like that. And then we want to, so that's going to be your middle bit. We just want to bend these around so we make sort of like a wing shape. You can do a little bit better. I'm bending them together so they're sort of like the same shape, and then we just open it up. And then I'm going to bend the two ends over, just so we've got like a sort of like a little hook over like that. And then this, oopsie daisy, this is going to hook over that little flat bit, and that's going to hook over that little flat bit. Like that. Then we're just going to squeeze those tight onto there. Like that. And and then open them up, and then we've got sort of like wing shapes, haven't we? Like that. So again, you can just bend them to however you would like your little fairy angel. You can make them butterfly shaped wings, however you like, and then lift her little hair up. Can you see? And then these just go on there like that. Now again, you can cover them with a little bit of lace or something as well, but I quite like them just wire. I'm quite liking them with just the sort of wire bit on there. I've just sort of pulled them out, and I'm going to just glue that to her back like that. So a blob of glue like that, and then I'm just going to hold those on her back like that. So they're on. Let's just push that down. And then I'm going to just get a little bit of, I've got a little bit of this, which is just like a fibre. That's just going to cover that little bit up on there. Just hold that. I'm just going to take a little piece off here. Again, you can use anything. You can use a little bit of lace or whatever. Little lace doily or something. If you've got those tiny little lace doilies, would be good. But I'm just going to pop that on the back, just to give it a little bit more glue. So that's just going to sit on the back. I did think this would look quite nice wrapped around there, but I don't think, because I quite like this sort of like coming out the sides as well. Look at that. That's a bit of a winky wonky angel wings, but that's beautiful. Look at that, guys. I think she is just lovely. Now, oh my gosh, let me get rid of this piece of this cotton on this needle. Oh, I think she's gorgeous. Now I've got little crowns. Look, I've got two little crowns here that I made, which are just lovely, aren't they? So this is what I think I might get my son to have a go. He's very good at things like this, and he'll probably make one that's a little bit more elaborate, I would have thought. So that will just go over the little what's it, the little hanger, and then that will just sit on her head like that. But I need to give it a bit of a glue on there, I think, because it's going to fall off. Just hold that up. The last one they did, I actually I hung it up to glue this on, which would have probably be a little bit easier. So which is the nice front bit. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a tiny bit of glue on there. Pop that on, just to stick it on her head like that. Just a little bit of glue. And then that will hang up. This is a little bit too short actually, but can you see? She's got a little crown on her head. Oh, I love it. I think it's lovely. I think she's lovely. Now, I did put on this one, look, this is the little one, a little bit of stickles on here, just so it's got a little bit of shiny on there, because we can't do anything without a little bit of bling, can we? But I'm just loving them. I just think they are so cute and really pretty simple. So it's just fabric, some wire and some wooden beads. Now again, you can make them as big or as small as you like. So where is my stickles? Here's my stickles. I've got a little bit of stickles on here. So let's just add a little bit around here. That's her little arms. So again, you could probably pop a little wire arms as well. You could do, couldn't you? And then cover those. So let's just pop a little bit of stickles on here. So we've got a little bit of bling. Little bit of prettiness on there, and then on this side, this is just, Stickles is just a glitter glue, but it's the best glitter glue I think around. I think it's fab. So there we go. Brilliant. I think she's gorgeous. So guys, that is your little Christmas fairy angel, whatever you would like to call her. But she is beautiful, isn't she? I think she's lovely. So I've got this one, I have got this one, and I have this one. And like I said, this one is made out of a harder sort of fabric, so she's got a bit more of a poofier dress. And then I've just got a little bit of sort of one of my little embellishments on there. Her hair is a bit more poofy on this one too, isn't it? But that was my first attempt, and I think she's lovely. But I do like these two. I think they are beautiful. So guys, there we go. That's your Shabby Saturday. So that's the last of our Christmas in July, which is beautiful. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Please take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon. All right guys, bye bye.